And a good spiritual morning to you once again. Thanks for joining us today for a quick chat and, of course, our morning cup of coffee.
Thank you for being with us. We hope you're having a wonderful day.
Absolutely.
Sorry about my voice this morning. There's little colds going around in this winter season.
You have a dusky radio voice.
I do.
Happening.
I have a scratchy voice today. Good morning.
Good morning. So what are we talking about? Well, so over the weekend... Was it Sunday night?
We were scandalized.
It was the Grammys.
Yeah, we actually didn't watch too much of it.
No, I mean we could have because it was streaming on something. What was it streaming on? Anyway,
Paramount or something.
Yeah, I mean we flipped across just to kind of see for a little bit,
and we said, "Oh no, that's why we don't watch it."
Yeah, right. But it's always kind of that's what we're sort of saying. It's like it's interesting to see what they're wearing, what they say, whatever. They're carny folk pretty much, and. But it's always been like that. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I was reacting, and he said, "Do you not remember David Bowie and Madonna and all those people?"
It's like the music industry. They've always got to be, they've got to have that thing. You can't just be
value.
You can't just be talented. You can't just sing or play an instrument. Yeah. You have to, look like a weirdo. And so, but it's interesting because it got us thinking about. Well, number one, what I realized. In talking to my son, who was kind of looking at it and kind of following a little bit online.
Wondering who was going to win,
Who was winning, who was going to how out of touch I am with music. I'm one of those old people now.
Yes.
That doesn't know a lot of the artists.
We don't know the artists' names. Yeah.
Don't know the songs, don't know. I don't know when that happened. It's
gradually.
It's been gradual.
It's been gradual.
But I feel like all of a sudden you fall off a cliff and you realize, okay, wait, who's that? Wait, what was best record, best song? But I don't know anybody anymore. So, but then also it got us thinking about like the impact that music can have.
Sure.
Because as I've said before on these videos, I don't listen to the radio in my car. I don't listen to much popular music anymore. Not that I don't like it. I mean, yeah, you do. I mean, I can like it. I just realize I'm one of those people that gets earworms very easily. I get songs stuck in my head.
So you guard yourself a little bit more.
I do, because I don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. This will happen to me. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. All of a sudden, as my mind starts wandering, as I'm trying to get back to sleep, and then I'm trying to say prayers to get back to sleep. All of a sudden, I'll get a song that I listen to in the morning driving to work. It'll somehow be in there.
There it is.
So I don't. But the power of music, and to be careful for us. Right, what music we're listening to, what we're exposing ourselves to.
I think that as our sons are older, so as our sons went through it, it was different. We didn't see as much of it. They liked music, they liked some artists, regular kids. But now with our younger daughters, it's a different impact that I'm seeing because not only is it the music and the words, but it's the images.
Okay.
Like they if they like a singer or if they like a song, what does she look like? What does she dress like? What makeup does she wear? Where does she get her clothes? And I want to scream. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't feel like those are at all people that I want my kids to emulate. I'm just going to say it. And they'll say, "Well, Mom," and I said, "They have a beautiful voice. I just wish they would sing about the topics that they're singing about or wear the clothes that they wear." I'm not trying to judge the person. I think that they're talented. Can they use their talent in another way?
Absolutely. As you're saying that, I'm, as I said, I'm obsessive and I get things that roll. So Michael Scott from The Office is rolling in the back of my head
when he
gets mad at Toby. Yeah. And he says that I hate so much about the things that you choose to be. And that's exactly
and he says
what
it with a straight face.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's difficult to look at the impact. And we remember the transition of that because we remember, at least I didn't grow up with cable. So I remember MTV started.
Oh yeah, 1981.
Right.
Yep.
I remember how it started. Remember VH1. You remember sort of okay, it's not just about how you sing because you didn't see them much. It's like you heard them on the radio. Mm-hmm. I grew up, in that sort of, I don't know how you would categorize it. We had a little radio with a cassette player in it. Yeah. And it was like you would record off of the radio.
You'd wait for your favorite song, the tape would be ready.
You so okay, they're doing a top 40 or they're doing something. It's like, okay, or it's like peak hours.
Yeah.
And it's like while you're working in the backyard, you got the radio going and a cassette in. So you're just gonna, okay, I'm gonna roll the dice and hit play and hope that I can catch my favorite. Like you just heard them on the radio. I didn't have MTV. I didn't see them on TV unless they happened to be on a show of some kind.
Sure.
Like if they were a musical guest on SNL, maybe you saw them back in the day. Yeah. But other than that, you had to go to the concert. So now you don't really see them because they're, 200 feet away from you.
Yeah, they weren't really great looking back in the day.
Really? You remember the 70s?
Yeah, do you remember
what people
the
looked like in the 70s?
Yeah,
it was okay because everyone was high, so you couldn't see how bad everybody looked. But yeah, now it's like, it's not only do we have cable, not only are we streaming, not only on the internet, everything's 4K. Like you can see everything in high definition.
All their tattoos on their faces.
Right. And it's kind of like, okay, so we do have to be careful what we're opening ourselves up to. And you do have to look at the music. Okay, wait, it sounds good.
Especially for our kids.
There's funny YouTube videos where you can kind of go on and there's like people in a little bit of an older generation, their 40s and 50s. There's one woman that does this. I don't remember the channel. But what the joke of it is, she's listening to songs from her childhood or songs from when she was a young adult. So she's listening to songs from the 80s and she's singing along. And then all of a sudden she realizes the words of the song that she's singing and she's horrified.
She didn't know that at 12 she was thinking about hooking up
and
with
they
people.
have like the closed captioning, so you're seeing the words on the screen. You're like, oh my gosh, that's what they're saying. And it's not it's a popular song. Same thing. I mean, the content of the song, the artists themselves and what they stand for, it's kind of all wrapped in together. And we're exposing ourselves to all of this.
Yes.
To sort of say, you know what, maybe it's okay that I don't know,
or that I don't support that artist.
Right.
Like, what is the saying that your money is your vote or your money is support? Where you put your time,
voice.
Is your voice. So I think that there's something to say about, and I'm just going to go there. There are, not all of them, but there are some that can border on demonic, a little bit of what they're doing. We've seen clips of videos of these people on stage. Oh, yeah. And the way that they're portraying themselves, it hurts my heart. Well, and again, I don't want my kids anywhere near their music.
Right, and that's that shock value of if they're just performing a nice song, but there's no shock value, then you're not going to remember it. And then it's not going to have the impact. You need that impact. Otherwise, they're just kind of boring. And it sounds great, but they could just be another person on YouTube. So you can't really tell, oh, they're signed by a label or are they not? And so they get on stage and they do something really outlandish and really graphic and really over the top so that you can talk about it. It's publicity for them. And that's the thing. It's more about the publicity.
I think too, though, forgive me, I think that when we were growing up and like the woman on YouTube, if you were in the car or if you were at home and the radio was playing, you had a little, alarm clock radio in your room. The music was kind of washing past your ears. You liked the sound. You knew a couple of words. You weren't really getting it at 10 years old, like she's saying. Right. But now we have to be careful. And this is my warning. You can't just let your kid on your phone watching YouTube videos saying, well, it's just music. It's not a rated R movie. Some of the videos are teaching or showing the kids behavior that we don't want our elementary or middle school or even high school kids. The way that the women, a lot of the popular artists that are out there, the women, the way that they're showing their dating habits or what they wear when they go out or how short can the shorts be or these things, there's imagery attached to it. It's not as harmless as maybe we could say that we grew up with.
Sure. Well, yeah.
Just the radio kind of, I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, it was never harmless. It was always bad. Even going back, like you were talking about, like you threw out Madonna. Yeah, I don't know that Madonna was ever a good influence. Yeah. That's been, the lyrics and the songs and the whole thing has been bad forever.
True.
But yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, you can't stop being a mom, can you? You're talking about it from
the mom's point of view, yeah.
From a parent's point of view, for our kids. But for us, adult to adult, I kind of tell people, you know what? Shut off the radio. I mean, really, just don't listen to it. And guess what? You'll live. You'll survive. Or if you really feel, well, I need to, whatever. Okay, then go on Apple Music, go on Spotify, go on YouTube. That's the thing you can do. And I mean, I don't have Spotify. I don't have Apple Music. You pay for those things.
We go on YouTube.
You can go on YouTube and pull up and search and pull up any song that you want. Go back and listen to stuff, try to have a variety of what you listen to. Try to find stuff that's classy. It's okay to listen to things that are classical, that give you culture. That's a positive thing. But also just know it's okay for me to just not do it, just to have silence. And people tell me all the time, well, Father, I can't you're talking about stillness and you're talking about prayer and silence. And I don't have time. I'm so busy. I say, really? You don't drive anywhere? You don't drive in the, well, yeah, but then I turn on, I said, well, why are you turning on?
Oh, it's a reflex. You turn on the ignition, you press the button.
Press the button, and whatever is going is going. And it could be music. It could be, I don't know.
Don't start us on talk radio. Yeah.
Talk radio, not really talk, but whatever it is. It's kind of like, is it of benefit to you? Take a step back and say, is this really benefiting me? And is it helping me on my journey as a Christian? Or is this becoming a hindrance to me? And sort of say, maybe I need to take some steps. And it's not going to happen all at once. I'm not saying if you're doing this regularly, you're just going to all of a sudden go cold turkey. But you can say, you know what? On the days I'm trying to fast, on Wednesday and Friday, just 2 days a week, maybe give the Lord's Day, give the Lord his due. On Sunday, 3 days a week, no radio. And anywhere I'm going, no radio.
And watch that grow.
And this is really disturbing. Radio on the way to church or on the way from church. Please don't do that. I'm still baffled about that. I remember years ago, this is now what, 3 parishes ago? 3 parishes ago, I was coming to church. I was pulling up to the church. It was early in the morning, and one of the people that was ushering was there parked on the street as we were coming into the church. And it happened to be a very nice lady, a young lady, a mom. And she was playing music in her car. All of her windows were up. She was in an SUV. All of her windows were up. And she was playing like death metal, like heavy metal music.
Something like from her childhood.
Metallica, like something screaming with like crazy instruments. So loud that I was like 20 feet away. All of her windows were up and I could hear it. And she's parked outside the church getting ready to go into church. Sunday. And I'm thinking, what kind of spiritual preparation do you think that is? And it's kind of like, I remember growing up, back in the day, we would listen to music in our old station wagon. We had station wagons. They were 9-seaters because there were 9 of us all together, 7 kids and my parents. I remember the 8-track player. We had an 8-track player. And just the radio was on with the push clicks that moves the red thing over like that. You know, like you have to push it in and it jumps it over. But if we got anywhere near the church, my parents always, like, even before we turned the block to get to where you could turn the radio off, like, I don't want it on while I can see the church. We could never play it in the parking lot, anywhere on the site of the church or in distance coming or going from the church.
That respect.
Yeah, because, well, it's common sense. You're preparing for something. Yeah. And so you don't want that in your head right as I'm walking into the church. Now I'm going to turn off my radio, and in 10 seconds I'm going to be in the door, and now I'm going to pray when I've just been, headbanging to Metallica or something. It doesn't work, or power rap, or whatever it is. It's like
a lot of the kids listen to rap.
The content of what you're doing, the sound, the influence. So it's kind of like, be careful about music. So the Grammys sort of just reinforce this idea that we want nothing to do with that industry, that it's all carny folk. I'm not saying that they're not, again, talented. Of course they are. Yeah. But just to be discriminating and to say, okay, how is this going to help me in my journey so that I can, grow as a Christian and get closer and closer to Christ and do that each and every day.
Amen.